Welcome back, folks, to a new True Payroll Crime Story. What's up, Walt?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good.
That's good.
Loving these two stories, two good ones. You got some fresh ones for us, so I'm
Yeah,
eager to dig in, man.
there's tons of stories out there, man. And when we started doing these shows, how we used to have quotes for our episodes.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
Yeah.
I'll hit them from the personal standpoint.
Okay.
Continue to hold on, man. Just to continue to hold on. If you have a project going on, if you're in the middle of a transition, no matter what you got going on, if you're doing something and you're not seeing and you're inching along, you're not seeing like a big explosive progress, keep holding on because I guarantee you that it's coming. And just keep doing the work, keep putting in the time, keep believing in yourself, and it's gonna manifest. All
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. It made me think of greatness scales incrementally. You
There
know?
you go.
Yeah, man. Good stuff, man.
All
So
right.
take us into this payroll crime, man. What are folks up to?
So we have a two for you tonight, two and one,
BOGO.
two. Yep. We'll go buy one, get one. So the first one, it is for improper payment of OT.
Improper. Okay. I
Improper,
already know what
not
the
improper,
article's about, so I'm like improper
not improper.
is
The
being nice.
Yeah. So they didn't pay the OT to people. They basically robbed their employees.
Maliciously.
Yes. The type of business is the healthcare. It's in the healthcare industry. The perpetrator, it is the owners of Kind Hearts. So that's funny, right? Kind
That's like,
Hearts.
yeah, immediately I'm like, kind hearts. Yeah, okay.
kind, kind Hearts Home Health Care. Let's see. Took place in Chesapeake, Virginia. The scheme length, as far as the investigators find out, that they went back as far as 2014 and found some instances where OT wasn't paid properly, all the way up to 2020. The sentencing, nobody was really sentenced to jail or anything like that, but they were ordered to pay back pay on the OT. The
Mhm.
total money they owed their employees for damages and including wages was $1.5 million.
Oof.
That payment included $759,698 in back wages and an equal amount in liquidated damages. So think about that. They had to pay that 700K to their employees and that same exact amount in damages. So
Wow.
it's like almost they had to pay double.
Who gets the damages, I wonder though?
Who
The
knows?
people, I hope, hopefully the employees.
Maybe some of the employees, I'm sure the lawyer's office or whoever took the case gets some of that money as well.
Well, yeah, of course there's gonna be, yeah. Yeah. Oh well the seven, yeah. The 7.5 though, and 7.5 is the 1/5 is the 1.5 million. So it did go to the employees.
Yeah,
I'm sure
hopefully.
there are legal fees in there too, but dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
So because they didn't do right at the beginning, at the end of the day, they had to pay double the amount of what they would have originally paid to these employees because they tried to do the wrong thing. You know what they did wrong? They intentionally underpaid employees OT to save their company money.
It it's oh my, I just did the math. It's 7,000, each employee got like $8,000 basically. 194 employees got paid out.
Yep.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. So what did you just say?
What they did wrong in this situation,
Uh-huh.
point blank, they did the employees dirty. They did
Yes.
by the employees. They intentionally underpaid employees OT to save themselves money.
Yes. Yes. And that's, I'm sorry, thank you for saying that, because that the thought I had was that's very more common than we like to believe with managers. You laugh, you know it's right.
Oh
Managers
yeah.
are, oh, I'm not allowed. We're not allowed to have OT. So
I'm trying to stay in my budget, Brian.
yes, So for managers out there, payroll people out there, everybody out there, and we've said it before, that is not, you have to coach. You cannot you not pay overtime, right? And this is the one of the reasons why you have to pay the overtime. If somebody is working overtime outside of the rules, it's a coaching situation. It's not a you're not gonna get paid. That you can't do that.
Exactly.
It's a coaching opportunity.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh
Like
my God.
I've seen it where a company had a policy in place that OT needed to be approved by a manager before you worked it, right? So whether you had to send an email or whether it was a form that you needed signed by that manager, and there needed to be an approval in place before that was allowed to be paid out, right?
Mhm.
And so I've seen it where the employee didn't get their approval, and like you said, to your point, they received the coaching. They received the coaching, and they said, "Hey, this is a verbal warning. Next time is going to be a written document." And that person continued to have those mistakes, and they were doing it on purpose. Eventually, they were in a state where it's at will. So they were like,
Mhm.
"Hey, we put you up 3 times for this. You're not listening. Hey, we're done."
At will or not, that is a documented situation. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So you're gone. That is a performance issue.
Yep. So as far as how this could have been prevented, at the end of the day, it was short and sweet. Pay the employees what they're due. Pay them properly.
Yes,
Blame.
pay your folks properly, and I think this is where did we just talk about how the owners, the temptation for owners, for
Yeah, that
business
was in
owners. Was it in the season 5 review? Because we were doing the true crime. I think that's what it was. I think it was in the no, who knows?
one of
Um,
those.
in any we'll repeat it because we don't know where it is now. Um,
It's out there.
one of the things that we've gleaned from the true payroll crimes is two prong, right? You have to protect internally if you
Mm-hmm.
have employees that are going to do something internally, which is the next story we're about to talk about, and then you have to protect externally from cyber threats and all that. But the takeaway from these true crimes for the business owners, there's a high temptation for this type of behavior because you think you're going to get away with it and save millions of dollars.
It's the temptation to cut corners
Hmm.
in some way, right? Oh, I won't pay my employees this money, or I won't report all these wages like we've seen in some of the other payroll crime stories that we've done. Or I
Hmm.
won't report taxes. I won't do this. I won't report all this for my unemployment insurance. I won't do this. I won't, like, all these different things. They're trying to cut corners
Yep.
to save themselves money at the end of the day. And it's just like, hey, there's different things that you can do to try to save your business money, and look at your budgeting, look at your
Yeah.
spending. But see, I understand, I get why they do it, right? Because payroll is such a big expense on their books.
Yeah. 45 to 55% of your revenue. It just is what it is. And unless
Yeah.
you have a different business model. Mm, you know what I think, and I think it's worth pointing out here. This article highlights that low wages and pay violations are common in the healthcare industry. In fiscal year 2022, the DOL wage and hour division recovered $14.9 million in back wages for over 22,000 workers in the industry.
That was just last year.
That is crazy. Uh, to my
Wow.
point, it's a common thing.
Yeah. And,
A lot of
hey,
money.
if you're listening to this and you're a payroll person who does payroll for someone in the healthcare, or you have a loved one that's in the healthcare industry, you might want to like let
Yeah.
them know about this
Yep.
episode so they can make sure that they're getting all of what's due to them.
Yep. And
How,
that,
how many times have we mentioned it? People, I know I get paid in my account. I don't know how I get paid. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I don't know how my pay is working for me. I don't know if they're paying me all my earnings or wages. Yeah, man, that's a great note. And that was just last year. I wonder what the average is like per year. And
Yeah.
that's just one
It's a lot.
industry. That's just
That's just
healthcare.
one industry. Exactly. Just one industry. I think I was thinking if you're in a payroll person in the healthcare industry, this is something you could look out for, like making sure folks aren't being taken advantage of. This is such a common issue in healthcare. And if you're in it, it's something to look at. I would start quietly, like just do some audits. And these are things that you got to bring up to folks that you trust and escalate through. What's up?
That's a great point
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, we as the payroll professionals have to do what we know is legal. And so
Yes.
if you're in a situation, no matter what the industry is, as a payroll professional, and based on the laws and the state that you're processing for or whatever, that someone is entitled to a certain amount of pay. Let's just say in this case, it's OT, looking at their time cards that they worked over this certain amount of hours. But the owner is telling you, or the person who submitted you the time card is telling you, don't pay them the OT. Or don't pay it on this check, move it to the next check.
Mm, yep.
Do the right thing as the payroll professional in this case.
Yeah. That's a tough one, right? That's a tough one in that situation. But yeah, you have to. We have again. What do we say? We're not the fiduciary responsibility, but we have fiduciary responsibility, and that applies to the because that ultimately you may think, oh, but you're looking out for the OT for the person. No, we're ultimately protecting the company because that's gonna the backlash on that and the penalties and things and that opens up for other audits because like in that article said the judges what do they say the DOL emphasized that kind hearts engage in intentional wage theft practices and the judge has prohibited any future violations of the FLSA. How he did that who knows, but they probably
So,
they
so
flagged
that
them somehow.
yeah, so that's letting them know if they mess up again, if this comes up again, they're probably getting shut down.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. And again, to Walt's point with payroll folks and documentation, that's payroll pillar number two: documentation, legal compliance, and audit trail. It's part of our responsibilities. You know what I mean? And again, quiet. If you feel like things are happening, you can always do quiet audits. You don't have to raise red. Don't be the one that, oh my gosh, we have a problem. No, prove first that you have a problem without doubt and then go to someone that you trust internally and then say hey I think can you look at this too and then that's how you escalate things. You don't want to be what is it the boy who cried wolf. You don't
I was
want to
just
be
saying,
that right because then the next time you say we have a problem nobody's going to believe you and maybe you do have a problem that time. So be careful about these things and be intentional about how you go about the audits looking out for things.
there was something that I think it was Ian in our episode with Ian. He said
Yes.
you have to know the right time to speak up, the right person to speak up to. And there was one more part of it that he said, but you basically has to be the right time, the right
Yeah,
person, right situation. You have to know
absolutely.
when to do it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then um for that case, overall, the article serves as a warning to employers in the healthcare industry to comply with wage and hour laws, emphasizes the consequences of repeated violations. Cost you
Yep.
gonna it's gonna cost you money. And oh, that's what it was. The solve. One of the solve I feel like, because you said what's the solve for this? Basically, don't be malicious, pay your overtime, but also could it be some onus on the employees to look at their pay stubs, right?
Absolutely.
As we
So,
start that as we start up that conversation again about pay stubs, you got I wonder again how did this red flag? Was it an employee that blew the whistle?
it, it could have been, but I've seen situations where, not to drag this out so we can go on to the next one, but
Mm-mm.
I've seen situations where one employee in the group was the one who was inquisitive about their stub. And they were just like, I asked my supervisor, I asked my manager about it, and I'm just not sure. I believe her because this employee thought her manager was a great person. And so,
Oh,
and so she was like, I believe what she's saying. I just want to make sure. And she called me in payroll. And she was like, I just want to make sure. I believe that she's right.
you told me this story before. Yeah.
But I just want to make sure. And it opened up a can of worms. And this lady had been doing that for years.
God. Oh,
Damn it, OT, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's, I agree with you. If you have a question about your pay as an employee, it's better to ask and be told that nothing's wrong than to let it go and just be letting your funds go down the drain and
yeah.
let the employer.
Yep. 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 I think that's an episode right there. The look at your check. How many for anywho, I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, all right, cool. Again, folks, if you're a manager out there, you have to pay overtime. Bring us to this next one. What else? What's this next one? This one
All
is a good one
right.
too.
So yes, this next one is a fraud payroll crime.
Internal.
Yes, internal fraud, and it was a small business. The perpetrator last name was Smith. I'm not gonna say her full name, just to whatever, but last name Smith. It took place in District Heights, Maryland, 2018 to 2020. Sentencing was scheduled for Friday, June 16th of this year,
Oh wow.
2023. So it still hasn't updated on the DOL site or the justice.gov site. So we're waiting to see how much time this person got. And the total money impact, while it wasn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, it still was $62,000 that this person stole
Yeah,
from her employer.
it's a lot.
So
That's a good amount of money.
what is she?
How many? How long was it? 62,000 over how much time?
Oh, 2018 to 2020, 2 years
2 years, two, 3. Yeah, that's not bad. 30 G's a year. 30, 20,
extra
30 G
on top of what you're
on
already
top.
getting.
Right. That's she thought she was gonna get away with it. Okay. How she take it?
So she used her access to the company's payroll management system to falsify her own payroll information for at least 84 pay periods. So they're saying at
Wow.
least between July 2018 and May 2020. To perpetuate the scheme, Smith would compile the weekly payroll information for each of the company's employees and submit it for approval to the company's CFO. However, after obtaining the necessary approvals, Smith would go back and alter her own approved regular hours, overtime, or leave in the company's payroll management system in order to fraudulently increase her pay for the applicable pay period.
Wow. Bro,
So
that's 3.5 years because we know, right? Pay periods. Well, okay, it doesn't say if it's weekly or not. So if it's like weekly, maybe it's like 2 years, a little less than 2 years. But if it's bi-weekly or semi-monthly, that's 3.5 years. Wow. So she was changing it after.
she got approved from her CFO. So that means if I brought the payroll to you, hey Brian, here's it
Yep.
goes. You audited, everything
Sign
looks good.
off.
Well,
Oh, looks great.
and then I'm like, okay,
Now I'm gonna change it after the fact.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm gonna add 8 hours to myself to my OT
Yep.
check
Little
after
by
it's been
little.
approved.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And she may have done it incrementally over. So if we divide it, what's
That's what
that?
I'm gonna do right now.
62,000 divided by
84.
84 pay periods. Yep.
$740. That's a lot of money.
That's
That's a
still a
lot of
lot.
money.
Yes.
Yep. Because you
Yes.
figure
So
you ain't
like,
making much anyway. She's doing it within reason. You ain't making. You're not making millions anyway.
yep.
That's $1,400 more a month. You know what I
Yep.
mean? That's a
Yep.
lot.
Yep. So that's, to me, that's crazy. So like, I know at the bottom here in the notes, it said that she agreed to pay 35,000 in
Mm-hmm.
restitution as a part of her guilty plea.
Mm-hmm.
And It was conducted by the Metropolitan Police Department's Financial and Cyber Crimes Unit.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Wow.
interesting, right? So this person, I don't know if she was I think she was an accountant there, a staff accountant or
Yeah, she
something,
was a account specialist in the
account
accounting
specialist
department. Yep.
who processed payroll. So, like, I know there's situations where your background may not necessarily be fully payroll, but you might process payroll
Yeah, because you
in
said a
some
small
cases.
company.
Yeah.
Small company, usually either a HR person or a finance person is going to wear the payroll hat.
Yep. Yep. So let's talk about that's what she did wrong. Let's talk about how this could have been prevented.
Well, it's an easy solve, and it just proved it. I feel good because I know, like sometimes I have do audits and I do things that I know it makes people feel uncomfortable, right? And it's, oh, well, why are you doing that? You don't trust, and I'm like, not really. This is not a
Trust
position
but
that I
verify.
trust but verified. It's not a position that I have the luxury of trusting you. Oh, I'm gonna trust. No, we're watching millions of dollars of money here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I need to see the report, and what it really prompts is if you're a payroll, and we talked about it in the past case, if you're a leader that's signing off on payroll, you really want to empower yourself to pull those final numbers yourself.
Yep.
Just because of things like this. Or like you said, you worked with a leader that asked two different people the reports. Like, hey,
Yes.
I'm gonna sign it off on here, but I'm gonna ask this one to go pull it from me
Yep.
after the fact, and
Yep.
I'm gonna double check it the next day. You
Yep.
know, if you're a savvy leader that can get the finals, that's what you want to do. In
Yep.
most systems, and this was why I'm a stickler for. I remember when I had gotten to a junior, and he or she was they were trying to do final sign offs on the preview, and I was
Mm.
like, oh, and the way I caught it was I was like, hey, are you saving down the finals? And they showed me where they were saving it down, and I was like, no, this is the preview. This is before payroll is processed. I said, after you push that button, there is another set of reports that's created that are your
Yep.
finals.
Yep.
That's the report that I want,
Yep.
not this. And oh, but it's the same thing. No, it's not. No, it's not, because ADP or whoever can apply something after you press that button that you don't see,
Exactly. Exactly.
right?
So, like, when you can initially preview that register, somebody can make a change while it's in preview, or while you take it out of preview to make
Yep.
changes.
Yep.
Somebody could have made something, somebody's status could have changed,
Yep.
anything could have changed.
Yep.
And then when you recalculate, the totals are totally different.
Totally different. So that it just reconfirms that for me. Like, you have to, as a leader, if you're signing off on payroll, you have to make sure that those finals consistently match. You're signing off on this number, and then you got to figure out a way to double check that number. If you're basing it on like your person coming and handing you a report, hey, here's payroll, you know what I mean? Or here's an email of a report that I created. You just have to be mindful of this stuff, because
Yeah.
this is where people get slick. And right, to your point, it's not a huge amount of money in comparison to the millions in the other cases we find, but this is a
But still,
significant amount of money, right?
but
It's not
still,
five
but still.
dollars. Yeah, it's not $50. It's 60 grand. That's a lot of money.
That, that's somebody's annual salary.
Yeah, it's a whole
And,
nother
and,
annual
and,
salary.
and it might be, depending on what level they're at, there might be two people's salary.
That you exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically the solve is audits. Good old audits, data validation, having a good process in place. And look, if you, as a payroll person, if you're like, dang, how do I get good audits? Hire an auditor. Get an outside auditor, come in and consult and tell you where you should
Exactly.
have your points at.
Hire an auditor. If you have a mentor, reach out
Yep.
to your mentor. If
Yep.
you have some networking connections with
Yep.
other payroll professionals in the industry, reach out to them.
Yep. Listen to the
Ask.
show. How about that? Listen to the
Listen
show.
to the show. Yeah,
Yeah,
listen
we'll
to the
teach you.
show.
We'll
So
teach
there's
you.
one more thing I wanted to point out in here
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it was a small business that this occurred to. And like the smaller business that like that mom and pop shop, they'll do things a little bit differently than the bigger
Yeah.
corporate conglomerates. They do things a little bit different. Some of their processes are more like, hey, here's a piece of paper with my hours on it. Here's a sticky. Go
Yep.
ahead and process this. It's a little bit different. It's not. They're not as. They may not be as much of sticklers as a corporate setting. So I wanted to point that out in here because they may not. They may trust the person that works for them a little bit more when you're in that small mom, especially if that person's been there a while, especially if they on surface are being a good employee. They may trust and say, "Oh yeah, I don't. This person's been here for years. I trust them."
Mm. Not
Right?
in not with money matters, man. Like when it comes to the money that's coming in and out of your business, you cannot trust. You have to verify. Period. You have to validate and verify, double check, and have somebody check the double check. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Most wealthy people have an accountant and another accountant to check that account.
Yeah. That's
You know what I mean?
that's why a lot of these corporations, to your point, they'll bring in the third party
Yeah.
auditors at the end
Heck
of the
yeah.
year, towards the
Yep.
end of the fiscal year, and
Yep.
they'll come and audit the accountants that audit the payroll. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
they'll come and
Yes.
audit the accountants of the company to make sure that they're doing it right.
And depending on the size of your company and what you guys go through, audits are sometimes mandatory. If you got a big enough bank loan, the bank will mandate audits
Yep.
to make sure you're running the business properly so they can get their money back. You know, you're not just blowing it like some of these other owners that are blowing the money. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The again and again, and you're right. I like that small business call out, the mom and pop call out, because you just can't do that. It is an uncomfortable thing, but you have to. It's a money matters. You know what I mean? It's not like hey, I'm serving extra fries when I serve up the meal. No, this is money matters. When it comes to money matters, no.
Money Miners might be a show title
Mm-hmm.
for small business people.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, for
but no,
sure.
but you're right. And if you're a small business owner, go listen to the season that we had
Yep.
on business owners and stuff like that. But listen to what that nugget Brian just dropped for you. Trust but verify.
Yep.
Even if you're a small business, it's best to have good checks and balances in place to keep your employees honest and to make sure that your business stays in compliance.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's worth saying the article highlights the instance of employees abusing their access to companies' payroll systems to commit fraud. You know what I mean? It underscores the importance of internal controls, monitoring mechanisms to prevent such fraudulent activities, and the consequences individuals may face when engaging in payroll fraud schemes. And we've seen it. Folks are facing jail time, like 60 years. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So it looks like she got off with just paying restitution. It looks like maybe because it's not convicted yet, right? It's not done yet.
She just got sentenced. Well, it was scheduled for last
Oh,
Friday, so the 16th of June. So it was
it's
just scheduled.
fresh.
We'll see what she just got. A lot of these stories are just appearing now,
Yeah.
bro. A lot of these are just coming out now because people are still making these poor choices
Yep.
out here. People are still deciding to do the wrong thing. I want to get into the mental state of what these people are thinking because I'm sure it comes out to a decision, right? You come to that fork in the road. I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. Because I'm
Yep.
sure there's been times when people have had the thought to do it and they just said, I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna stick to my morals, my values. I'm gonna stick to doing the right thing as a payroll
Do the
professional.
right thing. Yeah.
What the hell am I thinking? Let me do
Yep.
the right thing. I'm not
Yep.
gonna steal this money. Versus the person like, oh, I need this money. and I'm gonna do it or whatever. I want to know what is the determining
What
factor
are the
that makes
drivers?
a person, yeah, that makes a person decide to do it or not.
Yep.
Because how many you and I have struggled through life.
Yep. I've never thought
Finances
about.
have been
Yeah. I've never
finances
thought
have been
about this.
finances have been tight for us,
Hmm.
and we never thought, let me steal some money from my job.
Yeah. Yep. But again, I think it's a testament to what we say all the time. Payroll folks are a special breed, and it requires radical transparency, radical honesty, integrity. Yeah. Yep. Good one, man. That's a real good one. That one hits home because it's, some of this stuff is like, oh, it's way out there. Oh, that's not like me, Brian. I don't own a payroll thing, Brian. I mean, nope. This is your colleague that sat right next to you and was doing something. This is regular people all the time. Nobody's immune to it, and we just
Mhm.
look, as payroll folks, we have to do better, right? We have a standard to meet. So yeah,
Yeah,
I hope these stories help you out, folks, and keep you focused. But
yeah.
if you find yourself in temptation, you need to get out this business. We don't need you in this business. Sorry. Find a new job. Yeah, for real. Find a new job. Beat it. Get off the bus. Get off the bus.
You go kick him off the bus.
Get off the bus. Yep. Like Jim Collins, we need the right people
I'm, I'm,
on the bus.
yeah, so we do need the right people, but if you're struggling and you haven't done it yet, reach out to somebody, man. Like,
Yeah. Get another job. Uber. Drive Uber, do Instacart, do other things,
well,
don't steal.
they might do something shady with that. If it's in them, it's in them. No matter
Right. So,
what.
again, get out of payroll. You can do the shady stuff in other places. Get out of payroll. Don't need you.
All right,
We're
folks.
the voice of payroll, bro. That's it. That's it.
Yes, sir.
It's a
Yes,
wrap.
sir.
It's a wrap. It was a good one though. I like that one a lot, man. Thanks for procuring these and putting it all together.
All
And
right.
that's it, folks. I hope you learn some stuff from this. We enjoy reading through it and giving it to y'all. Till the next time.
Till next time, folks.
Peace.
Peace.